Anyway, thanks a lot for the opportunity. I will try to talk today about my experience traveling around the globe. We have presence in 51 countries, and we have been working with more than 100 cities all around the globe. And I will try to share some of the learnings and the experiences that we have. I'm not sure. Okay. And to start, and before looking at the future of the cities, I would like to look at the past of the cities, because I think we have a lot to learn about the past of the cities. And a great example is the dream of Mr. Henry Ford, in the 20s, that he filled all the streets with lots of cars. And if you think what was happening at the end of the 20s, more people were dying because of cars hitting people on the streets than the First World War, in the US only. So this was a consequence of technology being introduced in cities without cities being ready from the regulation perspective. That's a reality. In the 50s, 60s, General Motors took advantage of the Cold War and the kind of growth after the Second World War to promote a new way of living in the US. And probably you don't know, but there was the moment in life that they were talking about the Futurama. And Futurama was this kind of villages and in the urban sprawl outside of cities where all the people were going to live the American dream, with a small house, with a dog, with a car in the door. And this shaped the cities that we live today. And progress technology shaped the cities we are living with, all the problems and concerns that we are facing today, because we had the commuting of people, which is causing traffic congestion. We had lots of cars that probably we don't need if we were all living in the cities, in the city centers, etc. So I think that the learnings is that cities had to regulate, but at that time they were not ready to do that. Then, and this is all about mobility. We are talking about mobility as the way cities behave. It's the way cities develop themselves. If they manage mobility in the right way, it can be kind of a catalyst for the economy. But if they don't do it correctly, they can slow down their development. And we are in a competition of talent and a competition of cities. We are seeing globally this trend to attract talent and to be kind of leaders in that space, and mobility plays a huge role. And the problem is not going to slow down or disappear, because the concentration and density of cities is constantly increasing. So we are seeing growth, and everybody knows that 80% of the population will be living in cities in the 2050. So that the problem is not going to be reduced. And this means that city leaders, they need to manage density of people and mobility. And besides all of that, what we see is several key macro trends going together. It's not one or the other, it's all together. Now we see electrification happening in the last 5-6 years. The number of electric vehicles has been increased significantly. The price of batteries has been reduced by 65% year over year. And we are reaching the kilowatt cost under $100. This is very interesting when you put it together with the shared mobility. And shared mobility, venture capital is there. We have Uber, Didi, whatever, Lyft, all the kind of ride-sharing systems that they are adopting very quickly the electric vehicle. Why? Because the price per kilometer, not the unit cost of an electric vehicle, it's lower, It's lower than the kind of the internal combustion vehicle if you exceed 35,000 miles per year, and shared cars, they start to do that. So what we see is as many cars are in Uber, more electric cars are in the market, because the unit cost per kilometer is being reduced. So these both feedback each one, and then autonomy, And then when you look at the cities and when you look at the General Motors approach, that to put all the people living in the urban sprawl, we have commuting. And if you look at the Uber cost, for example, when you take into account the car, the driver, if you need to pay a driver, you cannot. It's not affordable. So it's not the price is not good enough. But when the autonomous car comes into play, you can have a unit cost, economic cost per kilometer as low as the Uber in the city. So this will promote the adoption of autonomy in a sense. So these three macro trends with connectivity, with new public transit initiative, with the global urbanization, all together, they are promoting a new way of mobility, which will change the way we live. This is just an example. We see like different trends of adoption. We see like it's not everywhere the same very dense cities like Mexico, Singapore, Tokyo, etc. They are adopting. They have plans to adopt what is called a seamless mobility, which is like frictionless mobility from private or public or private service providers promoting the use of autonomous vehicles. And we will see like dedicated lanes, the role of public transit changing, etc. So in one single word, what we are seeing and we are living, and in the next 10 years we will see for sure, is that disintermediation of public services for mobility. No, and this comes back to the reality today. No? So I talk about the past, I talk about the future, and where are cities today? And cities today, they are facing the same problems that they were facing the last century. No? They are facing congestion, they are facing parking, they are facing energy expenditure, waiting time, etc. And this costs billions. No? There's a study saying that if we could adopt autonomy in cities like Mexico DF, they could save about $7,400 per user per year, only in time not spent in congestion, etc. Okay? So, and then what are the leaders doing? No? What are the cities like Barcelona, New York, Oslo, Bogota, for example, doing on that? The only thing they can do, I guess, is to improve on their control on the disintermediation of public services, to at least understand what's going on in my city now, and promoting and building new regulation. So, and this is the role that probably cities need to play. They need to move from an action-driven approach that I will manage mobility and I will manage public services to promote public transport, to let companies or other service providers in a PPP model, for example, do it and control and regulate. Okay, to do so, what they are doing is adopting what we call operational intelligence solutions, that essentially what they do is they connect software solutions that they are normally in the control rooms of the cities, that they connect to a multiplicity of data sources from Uber, TomTom, people tracking systems, ambulance locations, traffic light management systems, camera systems, bicycle counting systems, bike sharing systems, etc. And they get all the information in real time in their control room. So the first thing they get is visibility, what's going on now, so they can answer. 5 years ago, you were approaching a mayor of a city and you were asking what's going on in your city now, and they could not answer in 2 minutes. It took 1 hour to get 20 different reports showing the traffic, etc. So that's one reality today. So they can monitor, but they can also predict, act, and engage. So they are using all these tools to engage with the citizens, that they are becoming not only the users, but the prosumers of the mobility services. And don't forget that because of autonomy, because of electrification, the price to get a car will be reduced. And when you look at the elasticity curve, no, for price demand in the transportation services, traditional transportation services, and a 10% reduction on price was transformed to a 4% increase in the demand. But when you look at autonomy and electrification, 50% of price reduction means 100% of increase of the demand. Because today, if I own a car, I can only drive one. But if I can own an autonomous car, I can own 20 and Uber them. So that will increase a lot the density of people moving around. And this will provoke, first of all, cities need to know about that. to regulate and probably change the taxation system. You will not pay to own a car. You will pay to own an autonomous car driving alone, empty, in the city from this hour to this hour. So this means a change of regulation. That's what we are seeing a lot in that space. Okay, what's the result of all of that? So they tend to diminish congestion, improve emergency response, reduce CO2 emissions. We are seeing a global trend on emissions regulation, improve air quality, and increase citizen satisfaction, which is probably one of the key drivers to attract talent in the cities for the knowledge economy. Okay, so at Worldsensing, we help all these cities, 60 cities around the globe, to manage their operations in a more smart way by providing them the software to run the operational intelligence centers. Okay, that's all. Many thanks for your time. Thank you.